Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
It's very nice to be with you.
And you as well.
Thank you. I learned a lot from you already. I've only been listening to you for a couple of months,
All right.
but I really liked the part you talked about one time about how my future self is communicating with me and guiding me.
Yes.
And I didn't know a lot about that. I'd love to hear more. I feel like I get a lot of information all throughout my day that's very helpful,
Yes, of course.
and I follow it.
Because you have guides in your higher mind and
Yes.
so on and so forth, and other connections that you're downloading information from.
Yes. Can you tell me more though about, I guess, sort of like the purpose my future self has, or what he, she, it, or.
Well, first of all, you're assuming you only have one.
Ah, good point.
Thank you. I
Okay.
often make them.
I've noticed.
All right.
Very wise.
So the idea is whatever the concept of future self is that you need to connect to at any given moment will be because you need information from that particular future self. But this is a dynamically changing thing. It's not necessarily static. I only have one future self and all I get is information from that future self. If you change, you might need different information from a different future self. Yes?
For sure. So there could be many, many now that I'm getting this concept.
Yes, because remember, everything exists simultaneously. So it's like a switchboard. I'll unplug from this one now because I don't need that information, and I'll plug into this one now because I need that information. And they might be doing the same thing with you.
That was another part of my question.
Well, I
Clearly,
just answered it.
you sure did. So being connected to my joy, as you say, will get me connected to the future self or the experience that'll bring me the greatest next joy.
Exactly whatever is relevant for you at that moment of the state that you're in. Yes.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
It does. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I like that. Thank you.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Bye.
Bashar,
And do you good day.
I am very excited to talk to you.
I am very excited to talk with you as well.
I want to let you know I had 100% trust that I would get picked to talk to you now tonight.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have 100% trust that I'm going to be answering something from you too.
Yeah, I have a few topics I'd like to discuss with you.
Yes.
The first one being my frequency.
Yes.
Over the past 3 years, I've worked a lot on transforming my limiting beliefs. I've gone through a lot of what you call the watermelon seed
Yes.
effect.
All right.
And so I'm
Squeezing
just,
yourself out in a new direction. Pop.
oh, it's very fun. And yeah, so just to sort of get a measure for my sake over that period of time, I'd like to know sort of the difference in my frequency of, I guess, generally the past couple of weeks. And about 3-4 weeks ago, I went through one of these watermelon seed periods. So I'd like to know the difference between before and after.
Going through the experience, most likely you were somewhere between 215,000 and 230,000 cycles per second. But then you will lower the frequency to acclimate and apply what you learned into your physical reality to some degree. So most likely you went down to about 165, 185,000 cycles per second in order to do the application back into physical reality. That's a typical thing to do.
Okay. And when you said when I came out of it, I was at.
Well, when you go through an experience of high energy, you usually then come out of it in a way where you have to then apply what you learned, apply what you experienced into the physical reality, which means you usually have to lower the vibration a little bit to be more harmonious with the physical reality around you.
Okay.
Yes? Because the actual experience is a peak experience. And things will fluctuate and go up and down as they need to in order for you to align with whatever reality you need to apply what you learned in. Yes?
Yes, I applied it.
All right. Well,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And you said before that 200,000 cycles per second was fourth density. Yes? Beginning?
Well, you're transitioning. Yes, it's about the beginning of fourth density. Yes, but you're all transitioning somewhere up and down. There are averages, sometimes lower, sometimes higher, just depends on what you're doing. But yes, you can use that as a demarcation in general for the idea of the beginning border of fourth density experience. Yes.
I'm excited to hear that.
Oh, all right. Then your frequency just went up a bit.
Yes, because I do a lot of lucid dreaming. So
All right.
so much when I'm in the lucid dream, I say I've been here a while.
All right.
And then when I'm in physical reality and walking outside, it sort of feels very similar to that.
Yes, well, that's the idea, is to allow physical reality to become dreamlike and allow your dreams to become more real, because then you start to blend them together and understand it's all one kind of projection of consciousness. It just has slightly different variants in it that make it one thing or another, but it's all a dream and it's all real in that sense.
I'm feeling that.
All right.
All right, I'll move on to the next topic now.
Oh, all right.
Yes, so I'm still transforming limiting beliefs, and I
Yes,
would like your help with this one, and I think maybe it would serve myself and others if I
usually does.
went through it for you. Okay. So there's this girl at work that I like very much. Came to my life
Yes.
recently.
I
Not a,
think the audience knows where this is going.
they think they know.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And and it'll happen in the same night where I'll have this state of being in love. So
Yes.
that and I'm aware I'm choosing this. So
Yes.
choosing this in love state,
Yes.
and then very slyly it'll sort of switch. It'll still feel good, but it'll feel like I want it to last all night. Like I don't want her to go.
So you are immediately imposing a condition on it and lowering the frequency of the unconditional love.
It seems like it because before, when my void was very big, it would be very obvious when this would happen. But since
Yes.
I've transformed so much, the void seems a lot smaller, and it gets sneaky on me
All
in
right.
a way.
But you're testing yourself to understand how to stay in the state that you really prefer, because it becomes a matter of precision and discernment,
Hmm.
so that you can realize that there doesn't necessarily take much to go from one state to another. So that by testing yourself and going out of the state even just a little bit and feeling the difference, it makes it easier for you to then remember what that state was like and bring yourself back into it if you're willing to go there.
I seem to have a challenge to bring myself back.
Well, then that's what you need to go through this process for, to find out what beliefs are challenging you to go back into the state you prefer to be in, so that you don't impose any insistences, conditions, and expectations on what you think being in love is supposed to look like. Because many people on your planet have an idea of what being in love is supposed to look like, and most of them are not right about that.
Yeah.
Being in love means unconditional acceptance of what is,
Hmm.
not imposing an assumption or an expectation or an insistence on what you think it's supposed to be.
Yes. So I asked myself this question:
Yes.
why do I choose to switch it?
Yes. And what's the answer you get?
The answer is that I don't think I believe that I have everything I need now in the moment. So if the physical changes and let's say she goes away, then
Yes.
my mind sort of chases that instead of saying this is a new moment and I have
All
everything
right.
I need to choose that state in that moment.
Yes. Well, you obviously understand what is necessary, but the question is, why aren't you allowing yourself to go there?
No, you won't let me say I don't know.
You can say it, I just won't believe you.
I don't believe me either. And
Good. That's a good start.
yeah, but I was thinking maybe there's a perspective that I haven't thought of that you could share.
Oh, yes,
Which
absolutely. Now, the idea again being that there is an assumption that, as you say, you can't hold that state. It comes from, as you say, feeling like, believing that you may not love yourself enough. Do you understand?
is that a question?
Nope. Except for the do you understand part. That was a question.
Yes.
All right. When you love yourself unconditionally, you will know every moment you have exactly what you need for that moment.
Yes.
And what is not there isn't needed.
Yes.
Yes?
Hmm.
But it takes loving yourself unconditionally first to know that. Yes?
Yes. I've been working on this in many ways, and this is another opportunity to look at that.
Yes, it is. Now, is there a reason that you're creating why you are not worthy of loving yourself unconditionally?
I was I was taught growing up that if people didn't like me or the circumstances appeared like that, that there was something wrong with me.
I see. Well, I'm going to just put this in your own colloquial terms, but buying into that belief is what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And when you don't buy into that belief, then there's nothing wrong with you. So only believing that there's something wrong with you makes something wrong with you.
That makes sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
Should have seen that coming.
Because what you believe is true is what becomes your reality reflection. It can't be any other way. So believing that there's something wrong with you allows you to experience something being wrong with you. That's the paradox. The belief that there's something wrong creates the experience of there being something wrong. But nothing else does. Only the belief that there is something wrong with you creates the experience that there's something wrong with you. Nothing else actually creates that experience, which
Yes.
means that there is nothing wrong with you. You will improve, you will change, you will grow, you'll gain more insight into yourself, you'll be more precise, you'll guide yourself more precisely with more discernment. But just because you may not be doing that now doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Because you're not measuring yourself against who you will become, because you have no business doing that, because you don't know who that is yet. But you know who you are now and who you prefer to be now. So be who you prefer to be now. That's the only thing you need to be. You have no business measuring yourself against who you've been or who you might become. Those are different people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
You can only be you. So be the you prefer to be. And don't find yourself coming up short by measuring yourself against who you think you're supposed to be.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Was there something else then?
One last topic.
Yes.
I heard you talk about before in a transmission about the star system in Tau Ceti.
Yes.
And when you did, I got very excited because you said one day we would be like BFFs with them. So
BFF.
yeah. So you said a strong bond.
Yes.
And so I was excited enough to look into it, and
You were excited not to look into it?
I was excited enough to look into it.
Enough. All right.
Yes. And there are two planets that orbit. I think one was called E and F, and one was rather close and warm, and one was a little further, kind of colder.
Yes.
And I want to know which one of those had the life on it,
Do you?
if it's relevant for me to know.
That's a very good way to end this conversation.
Okay, but I would still try to ask a question regarding that. You mentioned that they were kind of humanoid, but not.
Did I?
Yes.
How fascinating.
You can correct me if I'm wrong.
There is nothing to correct.
Okay. Would you like to get more specific on their appearance? Because I would like to connect in my
Do
dream.
you think that if I did, I would hold back?
No, but I'd like to connect with them in my dream time, and I'd like to be able to
You
recognize.
go right ahead.
But I'd like to be able to recognize.
You will, won't you?
Well, I trust if you say I will, then I will.
Of course you will. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you recognize the connection? What belief would be in the way of you recognizing the connection?
I guess I wasn't thinking about the connection that you mean right now, but more of like physical recognition. But you're saying that the energetic recognition would be stronger anyway, and
At first, although it might come with a physical image.
Yes, and I suppose I'll get that for myself.
I suppose you will. Pleasant dreams.
Thank you.